The hardest kind of relationship at home isn't when your parents are constantly putting you down or controlling you. It's when they are suffocating you, but they also leave just enough space for you to breathe. And somehow, they will let you know they do love you, generally. And that's what messes you up the most. At least for me. I won't speak for everyone, but for me, it creates this deep, lingering guilt. It balances out the pain just enough so I never question it. I don't know if this only happens in my family, but my mom always says stuff like, you need to be more obedient, the key word. You should know better. And every time she said it, it tears something inside me. I mean, who wants to be obedient, right? Don't we all want to live as our true selves deep down? And here's what I never understood. We all know how important independent thinking is, right? It's literally why humanity evolved to this point. So, why do some parents use obedience as a way to take that away from the kids? Maybe because that's what I had to do when they were kids, so they just pass it on without question. I don't know, I'm just guessing. Anyway, the 5-day break's already over. I'm heading back to school tomorrow. Funny how I said in the last video that I re-recorded this one, and now tomorrow is already the last day. The first version of this video I recorded on the first day of break feels like a full circle, doesn't it? Well, let me introduce myself first. I'm Tris, 21 years old, and Junior, girl, ordinary, as usual. Good morning, good noon, good afternoon, and good evening. Well, I've never hesitated this much to talk about someone, not because she did anything obviously horrific, but because she's my mom. She didn't abuse me, maybe just hit me or scream at me sometimes. She just slowly put me down like water draining on a storm. Soft but relentless. I never dared to talk about it because there was always a voice in my hand until just being too sensitive. That sentence always shut me up. But today I wanted to open the door, not to accuse, but to get revenge something. I just want to finally talk through this 20-year relationship. If you have someone who makes you feel guilty and suffocated, then you will understand why I have to say this. Well, back to our break. The first day, I met up with close friend, had a hot pop, walked around, chatted, drank coffee, even brought my favorite bread. But all of it, every bit of joy, got ruined by my mom. Even I have to record it now. And I honestly don't know what's going on in her hand. Let me say this first. I have to say this. I have no intention to offend anyone who comes from a loving, healthy family, and I would say good for you. But I do want to offend my mom. Okay. There was a time I thought things got better between us. She was being nicer, more polite, even a bit gentle. I thought, well, maybe I could try it again. But turns out, it wasn't change. It was a performance. This morning, I brought her a piece of bread I brought from school. I said, oh, this one is really good. You can try it. She smiled and said, "Thank you." I thought, hey, maybe today will be a good day. Then I ordered a cup of iced Americano. I was doing my makeup and getting ready to go out with my friends. As soon as the coffee arrived, she saw it and said, "You are drinking milk tea again?" She thinks it's unhealthy to drink milk tea and think I'm drinking a lot. I replied, "If you could live with less prejudice, life would be much better." She gave me a sarcastic thumbs up. I said, "Can you look what I'm actually drinking?" She looked and said, "Wow, you are drinking coffee on an empty stomach. That's not good for your digestion." Then she told me to eat some breakfast. I said no thanks and I walked back to my room. And she said behind my back, "No wonder your stomach is always messed up." Okay, let me explain why my stomach is messed up. Earlier this year, last year? During Chinese New Year, I went downstairs to take out the trash, ran into my godmother. I haven't seen her for a long time. The first thing she said was, "Oh, you didn't gain that much weight. Let me see." Then she looked me up and down and added, "Wow, you must have got so fat." I smiled and said, "Maybe, haha." At home, my mom would often throw comments like, "You really shouldn't get any more weight. Look at how thick your legs are." So, I went on a crazy diet. I mean crazy. I lost almost 22 pounds. Yeah, 22 pounds. Then I started binge eating. My stomach was ruined. I took all kinds of Western and Chinese meds. It took me over half a year to recover. Now I'm trying to lose the weight again, carefully and healthy, but my stomach is not what it used to be. Well, at the time, doing my makeup, I thought, no, I need to talk to her. I said, "Can you stop constantly denying my life choice, please?" She said, "Oh, I'm not denying anything." I say, "I haven't even opened my delivery." Assuming it was milk tea. I told her about running into my godmother. She didn't respond. Instead, she asked if the clothes she tried on looked good. I said, "Don't change the subject." I know, maybe it's subconscious, but if you hadn't said I gained weight, she wouldn't know. She still didn't respond, just kept asking about her outfit. Well, wait a minute, sorry. I said, "Remember when we ate with the other family? The first comment was, 'How could you ruin your stomach from dieting?'" I said, "Do you think they care? No, they just want to gossip, okay? I'm not their doctor, okay?" She paused and said, "It was those aunties who asked, so I told them you just gained a little." I said, "Don't lie." If you hadn't told them, they wouldn't say anything. She didn't respond. Again, she asked which shirt matched better. So the conversation ended. Well, later, I came back from hanging out, brought myself my favorite bread, heating in the microwave, ate half, left the rest in the fridge. She came back and asked if I wanted strawberries, because earlier I told her I miss strawberries. I said you could put them in the fridge first. Then I walked out the room and saw her eating half of my remaining bread. I said, "Why are you eating my bread?" She replied, "I was going to eat chicken but changed my mind." I said, "What does that have to do with my bread?" I texted her before and I said I would come back for bread in the evening, and she said she would go out for rice noodles. She said I have things in my hands, couldn't eat a rice noodle. I still can't get her meaning. What's the problem in that two things? Well, I said, "Why didn't you ask me first?" She said, "I did ask, you didn't come out." I said, "You asked about strawberries, not a bread." She said, "It was hot, so I ate it. I don't eat cold ones." She said, "All that?" And no one's did. She said, "Sorry," just like morning, always changing the subject, never admit a single fault. That's what kills me. Well, let me add some background information about our relationship. One night when I was little, we had to sleep in the same bed. I cried and refused. She hit me with a pillow and told me to shut up. The bed was next to the wall, so I turned away from her and sleep with my nose, my stomach, my knees pressed against the cold wall, just like this. I still remember exactly how the wall felt. Our relationship is that kind of relationship where we can't even walk side by side. We have to keep a distant, about 5-meter distance, one walking the hand and the other one behind. It's kind of relationship where if I'm sitting on the couch watching TV and she comes over, I shift away to the other side. Yeah, that distant. In my last video, I said I'd awake this power. A power to cut off any relationship that made me feel uncomfortable. Well, to be honest, the very first relationship I cut off was the one with my mom. Weird, huh? But look, I'm not a cold, heartless person. Actually, I quite the opposite, at least in my opinion. I think I'm someone who really values emotional bonds. You could ask my friends, they'd back me up. But still, how do you prove you're not ungrateful? So if someone think I am, if you think I am, I can stop you. That's your call, right? Anyway, people always say that a mother's love is the greatest love of all. That their mothers gave them strength, inspiration, encouragement. They say no one will love you unconditionally except your parents. Well, but when it comes to our relationship, it's not sure adequate love. Maybe there's care, maybe there's attachment, something, but it doesn't really fit into the whole love value system for me. Honestly, it's probably more about financial support. For example, when I was sick, the most she could ask was, "Are you better?" Then she gave my money directly, and I made an own appointment with the doctor, took the taxi to the hospital, saw the doctor, did a check-up, a gift, and in Travelers Street, got medicine and took taxi home, just by myself. Well, and I've always been okay with that, because let's face it, some people don't even get that. Like, take the recent thing that happened yesterday, the day before yesterday. Okay, well, you forget it. I've been saving little gifts from my friends, labeling them with names, dates, memories. Oh, well, I can show you an example. Just like, I don't know, just like I will labeling a label in the gift. I won't eat them or use them. Just save it and keep it. And then I come home this time. She had thrown all it away. I mean, that's something I haven't labeled it. She said it looked messy. She was just cleaning. And me, I just stood there, speechless, and I said, whatever, you never asked me anyway. You just do whatever you want. And of course, it ended in silence again. Well, she probably knew I was upset, but she never admitted. She wouldn't even try to talk it through. And at most, she might say something like, you want to go out for dinner tomorrow? Or you will just notice. Like she bought your favorite snacks, but an actual conversation? Never. And sometimes I just think, if you're choosing to be this kind of parent, then don't expect us to have some perfect mother-daughter bond. She once said to me, did you look down on me or something? No other mother and daughter act like enemy like we do. Well, I honestly don't know what she wants from me. Anyway, maybe I should tell you more about how I grew up. I was raised by the rotating cast of nannies from the time I was little. Then one day in middle school, my mom suddenly fired a nanny without even telling me, as usual. She said it was a time for us to build a mother-daughter bond. Honestly, I've always felt that was the beginning of everything going downhill between us. Middle school, well, how do I put it? I'm not even going to call it a rebellious phrase. Rebellious? Is that pronounced? Rebellious phrase? Because I don't buy into that whole idea. Just like menopause, another label people used to shut down real conversations. All it means is I started to think for myself. I started disagreeing with my parents sometimes, and suddenly that's called rebellion. Seriously, just because I didn't live exactly how my parents want me to do? That's rebellion? What kind of logic is that? Rebellion. Anyway, I will put the pin in that topic for now. Maybe I will come back to it when I thought it through more. Back to my mom. She used to unlock my bedroom door in the middle of the night. Yeah, by middle school, I still had zero privacy. Good for me. Oh. And speaking of middle school, we used to physically fight too. But when she realized I had started to defend myself, then that I wouldn't just stand there and take it anymore, she stopped. And then when she found out I was dating someone in middle school, well, she told me the neighborhood aunties were gossiping about my puppy love, that I had brought shame to the family. that was ruining our family's reputation. What's the reputation of my family? That's funny. Well, one Valentine's Day in high school, I wore a red dress and some light makeup. Nothing inappropriate, I swear. Just want me to feel good. I wasn't in a relationship at that time. I just went out for dinner with my friend, even female friend. But she looked at me and said, "You know you like a whore?" Wow, can you imagine that? That's the word from my mom. She threw away some of my clothes without telling me. Yeah, as usual, because she thought I were indecent. She would sneak in my room when I was out taking out the trash. When I came back, I'd catch her walking out. Just now. After I went to college, I came home and find my room completely cleaned. She said she was helping because she had something OCD, but she just throws things out, things I told her not to touch. One day she said, "Oh, those things look useless, I just toast them." Useless thing? They were memorable items from a friend who passed away in an accident, a USB of childhood photos, taken from my best friend's first stage performance, just because she thought those things look useless. Gone. In high school, I struggled mentally. Wow, that's a sad story. One rainy afternoon, on the drive home, I looked out the window and said, "I think I need to see a therapist." I don't know, can you understand how hard to set it out, this phrase, this sentence? But she replied, "I didn't send you to school to become a mental patient." That's a direct quote. I still have a recording, but I don't want to play it anymore because I don't want to listen to it again. I persisted for a few months and called to ask if my mom could go to the doctor. Because we were in China. We were in high school at a time and we couldn't only go home every weekend. That means we need to live on campus from Monday to Friday. She told me not to follow the trend of people pretending to have depression. Wow, sounds like I'm a fashion girl. Follow the trend. I said for a while it felt like she was getting better, and I would tell you what the turning point was. It wasn't until my childhood friend had a severe breakdown that she finally took something seriously. Because I had the same problem as my friend, and she didn't just hear some aunties in neighborhood, she saw it by herself. Saw how severe my friend was, but I don't want to add some more details because it's my friend's privacy. So anyway, the result is she softened, took me to the hospital, even read book about managing anger. But by then it was too late. After that I was going to college, and if I have to pay for it myself, if I want to see a doctor, something like that, I thought the treatment was too expensive, and the cost of regular checkups and counseling was all added up, and I honestly couldn't afford it. and it didn't seem like that counseling helped me much, but my therapist said it's not you, it's your mom who probably needs therapy, but she's too old to change. I can't agree more. So in fact, I'm not going to be over later, and I don't know if I'm doing well now. I mean, recover or something like that, but it doesn't matter, and there is no way. But she has a kind of, I already knew you were okay look. As the Chinese saying goes, mountains can move, but people don't change. I finally get it. It's not the bread, it's the hopelessness, because she always regard her self-esteem as self-esteem. Only her stays is in place, and only her face is face. She has the attitude of, yeah, I was wrong, so what? I'm your mom. Yeah? So what? That attitude. How am I supposed to fix anything with that? Let me be clear. We didn't get here because of one comment or one just piece of bread. It's been years. And then, at some point, she'd always let out these signs that, I just don't know how to talk to you. You don't understand me. I work so hard to provide for you, and this is how you reply me? Where are your manners? Your upbringing? If I haven't given birth to you, imagine how carefree my life could have been. These are made of words she really said to me. It's like all the pain in her life, past and present, somehow exist because I was born. But here is the thing, even now, hearing these words feel pointless, because if I'm still a clueless little kid in your eyes, then what do you expect me to do with all this guilt you're dumping on me? You're not asking for help. You're just offloading your pain on me, okay? Pain onto me. So that I, the sensible child, will feel responsible, will believe I'm strong enough to fix all that shit. But I'm not. I'm still that a clueless kid you talk about. You always said, wow, you haven't even entered the real world yet. Yeah. So, agreeing with I don't have the tools or powers to fix anything. All I can do is drown in the guilt you handed me. So now I want to say this to anyone listening. It's okay to be disobedient. Disobedient. Yeah. Of course, I don't mean, wow, you should drop out of school or break the law or something. Yeah. You still need to take responsibility for your own life, obviously. But when it comes to fixing mother-daughter relationship, I gave up. Totally gave up. And I want to gently suggest stop trying to change someone, because that path only leads to misery. To those who are also struggling with family dynamics, yes, it's totally fair to feel that life is unfair. There are so many happy families out there, and it's hard not to envy them. I do too, okay? I do. But you can't stop at envy, because someone out there are people going through even worse. Like me right now, I'm turning all this injustice into words, into videos. This is my way of turning pain into power. Well, this unfairness pushes me to fight for more freedom. So in a way, maybe it's not entirely a bad thing. Because hey, if life is already a floor full of broken glass, and I can dance on it, at least I will try to find some candies among the shards. Be brave enough to choose happiness. We have to find that balance in your relationship. And most importantly, remember this. All those guilt-tripping words she says to you, or he says to you, they don't actually have the solution either. So why would you magically have one? Just let those words pass through you. Make your choice. Decide how do you want to interact with them. Then live by it. At least for me, once I did that, I felt so much lighter. Well, I truly hope you can find your own sense of freedom too. Get away from whatever and whoever you need to. Even if it's your parents. From the bottom of my heart, I hope you make it. And I hope I make it too. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for being here with me.